It is a it is important to address some of the potential conflicts here. So these conflicts are disclosed in a more lengthier document that no one reads. They're not disclosed on the website of the actual resources that are for public use. These are things that you have to dig for, but it also gives them the ability to say, like, we disclose this. But for those that don't know, those who provided some advising on the report include those with associations to Global Dairy Platform, National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Texas Beef Council, American Dairy Science Association, National Dairy Council, National Pork Board, California Dairy Innovation Center, California Dairy Research Foundation, and Dairy Management Inc. So, although these are disclosed interests, again, in a place that no one's reading, where some of these things are coming from are saying that these past recommendations are due to like special interest groups and like the grain industry influencing these guidelines rather than using scientific bases. But here we see many conflicts that go in line with what is recommended here and what is not recommended by both the US government in itself in the past, as well as other governments and other scientific organizations around the world. The recommendations that are in this public report also don't even match the research report that is normally used to make these guidelines. So that is highly questionable in how these conflicts may have influenced these recommendations that don't make sense in terms of the health science research that backs past recommendations versus these.
I find this hilarious because I know when I read the Scientific Foundation for Dietary Guidelines for Americans for this round of guidelines, they legit on the first page mentioned something about us wanting to uh, select individuals that had an absence of conflicts of interest. Yet, let's get a bunch of people helping out with making these guidelines that have clear conflicts of interest. It's this type of a thing. It's just, and again, that part is in the same place that you just mentioned, Matthew, where you got to dig and find this information. Not everybody's going to look there, or even, even if they find it, they're not necessarily going to know the impact that this will have. But to me, I'm now like, oh, you're trying to deceive humans into thinking that it is a certain thing, yet behind the scenes going, oh no, actually, there's these conflicts of interest that we have to report here. But we really tried hard to find people with an absence of conflicts of interest. It's just like you didn't try hard at all. What does that say about all the other elements of the guidelines in these reports if you can't get that right? Because it's not that difficult to find people with a lack of a conflict of interest.
And in their list of subject matter experts, where they list all the disclosures, there's one person that doesn't have any. There's literally one person.
Good job to that one person.
Shout out to Daisy Zamora for not having any interests to disclose.
I can just imagine that one person, Daisy, just in a room with these folks talking about these guidelines, trying to like offer, and I don't know Daisy, so I can't obviously speak for them, put words in their mouths, but I can just imagine one person without conflicts of interest in a room full of people with clear conflicts of interest trying to have a reasonable conversation about dietary guidelines and having it continually go down the path of things that are related to their conflicts of interest. I would be enraged every day.
And some conflicts just exist in terms of someone's area of work or area of expertise, which happens. But it's questionable that, yeah, one person doesn't have conflicts, and all the conflicts are either in the meat or dairy industry. Which, if you're trying to do like a broad base of subject matter experts, whether they be researchers, industry people, it should be more than two industries. That in itself is also raises red flags here.
Anybody on there that disclose, say, interests of like the American Pulse Growers Association or soybean farmers or anything like that. It's just dairy and cattle. Very, very interesting.